This month at Plimmerton Farm, winter has arrived, but the work hasn't slowed. We catch up with the team from Fulton Hogan to see the progress being made on two key pieces of infrastructure, the wastewater pumping station and the new water reservoir. We also stop in to talk with Jordan, who is managing the day-to-day project work for Gillies Group, and meet Adam, who despite the steep and technical terrain, has already completed 4 kilometres of 8-wire fencing across the farm. With the winter work season now upon us, we take a closer look at what it means to develop land in Wellington and why work on sites like this is carefully managed between June and October. And finally, we meet the team from Aotearangi who are hard at work planting 70,000 native trees this season, helping shape the future landscape of Plimmerton Farm. Last time we were here at Fulton Hogan, we're busy setting up the creeper crane. They're going to use that crane to build this wastewater detention tank. This tank is huge. It's going to encompass this whole space here, and it's going to be built out of precast concrete panels. The team's already been busy building these 1-ton concrete blocks. They're going to be used to stabilise those concrete panels as they're built, so they'll hold them in place until they're all joined together. They've already started with the foundations. As you can see, there's a ton of rebar that goes into these, and these moulds here which they've got will be filled with concrete. So today's update, we're going to go around Plimmerton Farm. We're going to look at some of the progress we've been making on site. I'm just going past the wastewater detention tank. We're just heading over now on this temporary track which we've formed in the lower paddocks. We're going to head up to the reservoir fairly shortly, have a look at the progress they've made since last week. They were getting it all ready to lay the ring foundation, which I'm pretty sure they've finished now. Once that's in, they can pour the actual foundation. I was just talking to Geordie before, and they've just started the planting, the restoration planting. So this year alone, or this planting season, we're planting 70,000 plants. We'll head up, have a look at those, have a look at some of the fencing they're doing to keep the stock out of the wetlands and out of any potential planting areas. And hopefully bump into some of the guys doing the planting as well. It'll be quite interesting to have a look at. Since last month, they've been making some real progress with this main entry road, which we're bringing from James Street along the bottom of Moe Street and up. We've hit we've hit quite a bit of peat and sediment, which you can't really build a road on. So what they're busy doing now is they're undercutting that road to get down to some solid foundation. We're talking 2-3 metres worth of muck basically, so they're mucking that out, getting to a solid grounding. We'll then use geotextile cloth and build that road back up and make it nice and solid. So that'll be our main, coming through here, that's actually going to be our main entrance road, and as you can sort of see, it's going up the hill there, so it'll come along through there and up there. One of the other things, and particularly with these sloping sites or steep sites like this, is the challenges around water control. You can see there's a huge cut up in that hill there. They've had to do that so they can put an SRP, a sediment retention pond, at the base, and that's going to capture all that water. So in actually managing the stormwater, we've actually had to do quite a bit of earthworks to create these platforms where we can put ponds which will collect that water. So it's quite an interesting and it adds another level of complexity to building on sloping sites as opposed to the stuff like when we do it in Wallaceville, where it's all river run material, everything drains away and it's flat, so it's a lot easier to build these ponds. So right here, I'm just going to 4-wheel drive, right here now, this is where culverts 2 and 3 have been installed. We've had a look at this over the last few months. There's quite a bit of work goes into building these. Oh man, look at that. So developing in Wellington has a number of challenges. One of them is that we have a winter works season, and basically what that means is between June and October each year, the sites have got to close down for earthworks. You can still do civils a lot of the time, but if you need to do any earthworking, you're limited in the amount of space you can open up. You need to get special consents to do certain types of work during that winter works period, so it's a lot more controlled than during the summer season. That's just something we've got to take into consideration when we're developing these sites. We have winter works for some of this development, and that's why we're still able to go, and we've selected works to continue on over winter. And like I said, there's pretty tight controls over that while we're doing that. And as you can see over there, Kush, we were here last week, Remember they were spraying that grass?
Yep.
There it is there. I'll go down. So when we were here spraying last week, that grass is already, that's already taken. It's already struck. That's brilliant. So over winter we're focusing on, well, a number of things. Some key things. One is the reservoir, getting that constructed. We're going to be looking to tidal these sites sort of October next year, which is 18 months away. So between now and then we need to have the reservoir online, which is a 6 million cubic litre reservoir. We've then got to also have the wastewater detention tank online, which is 2 million cubic litres. We've got to have our main entrance in off James Street constructed and operational, and obviously we need to have the earthworks done in our first area of housing. So it's quite a bit of work to do in the next 18 months. Let's go and have a look at the reservoir, see how that's coming along. So since we were here 3 or 4 weeks ago, they've already laid the concrete ring foundation that's going to support the 44 precast concrete panels. Now they're going to comprise the exterior of this 6 megalitre water reservoir. Where we're standing, there's going to be a 500mm foundation to be poured in the next couple of weeks. That's about 400 cubic metres of concrete. So that's going to form the base of the water reservoir. Where I'm standing, you're probably going to notice that the sand is not flat. So if we were building your home, typically that underneath your slab would be flat. Here it's been designed so that it actually slopes off to the edges and to the centre where there's a sump. And that's designed to take away all the water from underneath that reservoir, underneath that foundation. The whole slab has a lattice of tendons that run through it, and those are tensioned after the fact, don't they? So that's why you put post-tensioned. It just makes it structurally stronger.
And helps with shrinkage, helps stop any shrinkage cracks.
Helps stop any shrinkage cracks. Oh yeah? Oh, of course it would leak through there, wouldn't it? Okay. So it's post-tension to stop any shrinkage cracks where you could potentially get leakage through it. Which is why you got the sump underneath and why you got all the drainage and all that sort of stuff. Yep. Brilliant. So what are we fencing?
So we are fencing the SNAs, which will be vested with the council at the end of the project. Adam here has done, how much have you done, Adam? Give us a quantity.
About 4 kilometres.
4 kilometres of fencing. You can see in the distance as well, we've got Aaron from Aorangi Environmental, who's done, this is day 2 of planting, 70,000 plants in the first planting season. Yeah, that's
so what are we doing this? Why are we fencing it though?
Stock proof and future neighbour, what are they? Future residents of the site who will pretty much, we're just trying to protect it.
So protect all the bush we've got in there, because we're keeping most of it, or keeping quite a bit of it, eh?
Yeah.
He's got the, you might be worth getting out and have a look at this as he comes past with his little side by side. So we're just going to head up to the stockpile where we've got our plants. We've got 70,000 native plants to go in this planting season. We just met with Adam from Aorangi. Him and his team are up on the hills now planting. Earlier we bumped into Adam, who's doing the fencing. So he's fencing all of the SNAs and all of the native plant areas. We're just trying to keep the stock out, we're doing that to keep the stock out of them, and also to define what areas of buffer planting and offset planting that we're going to be doing. So he's busy doing that. I just saw him up on the hill before. He's getting all of that work done, and we're just going up what we call the corkscrew now in 4 low. As part of the Plimmerton Farm development, we're undergoing a massive replanting program using native plants. This is just some of the 70,000 plants that are going in this year alone as part of that program. We're looking to enhance a lot of the SNAs and wetlands and actually increase their size.